In today's video, we are going to discuss the properties of perfect square. To know about the perfect square, just watch my previous video. I'll put a link in the description box. So let's start the property number 1. A number ending in 2, 3, 7 or 8 is never a perfect square. It means any number, however big it is, 2 digit, 3 digit, 4 digit, if the ones place digit is either 2, 3, 7 or 8, it will never be a perfect square. So let me take one example. Suppose a number 5372. The ones place digit is 2. So it cannot be a perfect square. Let us take another example where a number is 8457. Here also ones place digit is 7, so it will not be a perfect square. So just check here, all the number from 1 to 20, the squares are written here, and if you will check the ones place digit is none of the square number is having 2, 3, 7, 8. All the digits either it is 1, 4, 5, 6, 9 or it is 0. So if the number ending or the ones place digit is 2, 3, 7, 8, it will not be a perfect square for sure. But if the ones place digit is 1, 4, 5, 6, 9, 0, it may or may not be a perfect square. So by seeing the number only, we can have the idea whether it is a perfect square or not. So the second property is a number ending in an odd number of zeros is never a perfect square. Odd number of zero, suppose let me take the example like 360. So it is having one at the ones place only one zero. So let us take another example. Suppose I'm taking 64,000. It is having three is odd number, right? So odd number of zero. So it is having one zero. 64,000 is having three zeros. So any number, if it is having a odd number of zero, it will also for sure will not be a perfect square. Okay, so what about if a number which is having a even number of zeros, like uh, let me take 3600. So it may or may not be a perfect square. It is also not compulsory that if it is having a even number of zero, it will be a perfect square. So 3600 we need to find, suppose, so 60 into 60, that means 60 square. 60 square will give you 3600. So 3600 is a perfect square, right? Let me take another example, 200. But 200 is not a perfect square, though it is having a even number of zeros. Even then it is not a perfect square. So it may or may not be true. If it number is having a even number of zero, it will be a perfect square. But if a number having a odd number of zero, it will definitely not a perfect square. The property third is, if a number when divided by 3 leaves a remainder 2, then it will surely not a perfect square. So let me take some example. Uh, Suppose let me take an example, 23, right? If I will divide 23 by 3, so 3 sevens are 21 and the remainder is 2. So 23 is not a perfect square for sure, right? Because the remainder is 2. But see, if you divide any number, any number you take, if you divide any number by 3, what are the chances of the remainder? Remainder can be 0, remainder can be 1, and remainder can be 2. Right? Remainder will always be less than the divisor. So remainder either it is 0, 1 or 2. So this property states that if the remainder is 2, it will surely not a perfect square. But what about if the remainder is 0 or the remainder is 1? Then it may or may not be a perfect square. Let me take one more example. Suppose I'm dividing 39 by 3. I'm taking a number 39. If you divide that number by 3 and then 3 ones are 3, 3 threes are 9. So here remainder is 0, right? But 39 is not a perfect square. It is not a perfect square. Even the remainder is 0. So this property states that if the remainder is 2, you divide a number by 3, remainder is 2, it will surely not a perfect square. But if the remainder is 0 or 1, it may or may not be a perfect square. So let me take the next property. Same property, if you divide a number by 4. Now this time we are dividing a number by 4. If you divide any number by 4, take any number, and if you divide by 4, what are the chances of getting a remainder? Remainder will definitely will be smaller than this divisor 4. So remainder may be 0, 1, 2 or 3. Right. So if the remainder, if you are getting a remainder 2 and 3, take any example, any big number or any small number. If you divide that number by 4, and if the remainder you are getting 2 and 3, it will for sure not a perfect square. But if the remainder is 0 or 1, then it may or may not be a perfect square. Now the next property states that the square of an even number is always even and the odd number is always odd. Yes, see, this is an odd number. Okay, let me take any odd number 3. So square of 3, square of an odd number. 3 3s are 9. Square of an odd number will be 9, right? So square of odd number is odd. Let us take any even number. 2 is the even number. So square of 2 is 4. Now let me show you the squares. See here, squares from 1 to 20 I have written. 1 is odd. So square is also odd. 2 is even. The square of 2 is 4. That is even. 7 is odd. So the square of 7 is also odd. Now 14 is even. So the square of 14, that is 196, right? 6 at the ones place. So this is an even number. So if you will square of the odd number, it will come always odd. And if you will square of the even number, it will always come as even. So the sixth property is the square of a proper fraction is smaller than the fraction. See, what is a proper fraction? Proper fraction where numerator is smaller than the denominator, right? So this is a proper fraction. Now if you will square it, so this is a proper fraction. If you will find the square of the proper fraction, that means square of 2 by 3, you will get 2 square is 4 and 3 square is 9. So square of proper fraction is always smaller than. So if you will find 2 by 3, value of 2 by 3, somewhere you will get 0.666. And if you will find 4 by 9 in the decimals, you will get 0.444 something. So you can see 4 by 9 is smaller than 2 by 3. See why this is happening? Because whenever you just see the difference between the numerator and denominator is getting bigger. See here, difference between numerator and denominator is only 1. But here difference between numerator and denominator is 5. So if the difference between numerator and denominator is getting bigger, the fraction becoming smaller. So this is smaller. Any fraction you can take. If the denominator, let me take randomly any fraction. If I will say 6 by 7 and let me take 3 by 8. So which will be smaller here? 6 by 7, the difference is only 1, right? And 3 by 8, the difference between numerator and denominator is 5. So if the difference between numerator and denominator is getting bigger, that fraction becoming smaller. So this fraction will be smaller than 6 by 7. Now the next is property number 7. It is very interesting and very useful property while solving the square roots. See here, for every natural number n, we have n plus 1 square minus n square is n plus 1 plus n. What does it mean? It means you take any natural number and if you take the consecutive natural number, see n is any natural number, right? So what is n plus 1? N plus 1 is the consecutive number, the number which is greater than 1 greater than the n. Suppose let me take any number 6. If n is 6. So what is n plus 1? N plus 1 will be the next number, that is 7. Right. So if you have to find, suppose n plus 1 square, that means 7 square. And the difference of n square. N square is 6 square. If you have to find their difference, so you don't need to actually find the squares. Directly you can write the answer. The answer will be n plus 1 plus n. What is n plus 1? N plus 1 is 7. What is n? N is 6. So 7 plus 6 is 13. So without solving the squares, you can directly write the answer by adding these two numbers. 7 plus 6, you will get 13. Let's try. 7 square will be 49 and 6 square will be 36. So if you will solve 49 minus 36, you will get 13. Right? So this property is very useful for solving the questions. There are many questions comes in the exam also, and you will use this property. It becomes very easy. Actually, properties are only to make the calculations easier. Suppose let us see, if I will give you the question 36 square minus 35 square. Find the answer without solving. So you can see n, the consecutive 35 and 36 are the consecutive numbers, right? So n is 35 and n plus 1, the next number after 35 is n plus 1, that is 36. So what is the answer? Now if you will solve it, actually 36 multiply by 36 you will find, then 35 square you will do 35 multiply by 35. It is going to take a lot of time, right? So this property is helpful in solving these kind of questions. So what is the answer without solving this? The answer is n plus 1 plus n. What is n plus 1 is 36 and plus n is 35. So 36 plus 35 is 71. So you can see from, take the calculator and you can check immediately. 36 square minus 35 square, definitely the answer will be 71. So without actually solving, finding the squares, you can use this property and find the answer immediately. Now let us see the next property. The property number 8 is between two consecutive square numbers n square and n plus 1 square. See, n square, like same property, n square, and the next number, the next consecutive number will be n plus 1, right? So between these two numbers, there are 2n non-perfect square. So let me take n if n is 3 square. If n is 3, so what is 3 square? 3 square is 9, right? Let me take another n plus 1, n plus 1, that is 4 square. So n plus 1 is 4. If you will solve 4 square, it is 16. So how many numbers are there between 9 and 16? Between, so don't include 9 and 16, right? So there are 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. How many numbers are there? Let us count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 numbers. So what are 6 numbers? 2n. What is 2n? Here n is 3, right? So what is 2n? 2n will becomes 2 multiply 3, that is 6, right? So this property, let me take one more example to ask you. This time let me take some bigger number so that you will understand. If I will ask you, suppose n is 36, right? Then what is n plus 1? N plus 1 will be 37. So between two consecutive square numbers, so if you will square it, like 36 square, okay, you just find 36 square, then you find 37 square. Okay, then how many 36 square something? See, if you will find the 36 square, let me see. 36 square is 1296. And what is 37 square? 37 37 square will be, let me calculate it. Okay, so 37 square will be 37 multiply 37, it will be 1369. So 1296 is a perfect square. Okay, so the perfect square, so the perfect square is 36 square. It is a perfect square of 36. 1369 is also a perfect square of 37. So all the number between 1296 and 1369 will be the non-perfect square number. So how many non-perfect square numbers are there between this? So how we will find out it? It is 2n non-perfect number. So 2n means 2 multiply 36, that means 72 non-perfect square numbers are there between these two, right? So you can see 1369 minus 1296, you will get 72. So this property is useful when you have to find out how many non-perfect square numbers are there between two square numbers. So let's move on to the next property, property number 9. For every natural number n, sum of first odd natural number will be n square. So this property is useful. Suppose if you have to find the sum of odd natural numbers. So I am writing all the natural numbers, odd natural numbers. Suppose 1 plus 3 plus 5. After 5, it is a 7, then 9, then 11. Right, now you have to find the sum of these numbers. So if you are going to calculate, you have to add all these numbers, right? So if you will add, let me see, 9 plus 1 is 10, 7 plus 3 is also 10. So this 10, 10, 20, 30, 31 plus 5, 36. Okay, now if you are using this property, the sum of first n odd natural number, these are all odd natural number, right? Consecutive odd natural numbers. If you will add it, it will be n square. So how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So the sum will come 6 square, that is 36. You can see, right? You can try. So in the exam, they might ask the question like, what is the answer for 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13 plus 15 plus 17? Now if you are going to calculate, it will take lot of time. So these are the odd natural numbers. So how many natural numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the sum will be 9 square, that is 81. You can try, right? So without actually finding this sum, we have got the answer. So these properties are helpful. It makes our calculation easier. Now next we have the property number 10. This is the last property. Three natural number m and p are said to form a Pythagorean triplet if n square plus n square equals to p square. So to understand this property, let us see what is Pythagorean triplet. So you have learned about the Pythagorean theorem. If you have a right angle triangle and this is the base, suppose let us take the base side is 3, this is the perpendicular side is 3. Let me take this base as 4. So this is the hypotenuse, it is the longest side, and let us take this is 5. So whether this follows this condition or not, if it follows this condition, that means this is a Pythagorean triplet. So what is m square? This is m, right? And I have taken this as n and this as p. So m square is 3 square, that is 9, plus n square, that is 4 square, is 16. Is it equals to 5 square? That is p, 25. Yes. So 9 plus 16 is equals to 25. So we can say 3, 4 and 5 is a triplet. So this property is used to find the triplet. See here, for every natural number m greater than 1, you will have the triplets 2m, m square minus 1, and the next triplet will be m square plus 1. For any natural number n, m greater than 1, this will be a Pythagorean triplet. So this property is used to find the questions like, suppose if they will ask, find the Pythagorean triplet whose smallest number is 12. Whose smallest number is 12. Okay, so this is a triplet, right? So these three number we can find, the one number is 12. So that is the smallest number. So let us assume that smallest number 2m, that is 12. You can find the value of m from here. M will be 12 by 2, that is 6, right? So what is the next number according to this property? The next number will be m square plus 1. So what is m square plus 1? Because m has come 6, so 6 6 are 36 plus 1, that is 37. And what is the next number? M square minus 1. 6 6 are 36 minus 1 is 35. So we have got the triplet 2m. What is 2m? 2m was given 12, because they have told if one of the number of the triplet is 12. So 12 was given. What are the other numbers? Other number is m square minus 1, that is 35, m square plus 1, that is 37. So 12, 35, 37 will form a triplet. So this property is useful when you have to find the triplet One of the number is given and you have to find the other two numbers. That forms a triplet. So that's it for today. So if you like the video, please subscribe, like and share the milestone videos. Thank you for watching.